Alright, we're starting this video on a kind of a close-up here. Pardon me while I brighten the image just a little bit. There we go. Because I wanted to talk a little bit about this circuit before I started building it. And as yet I don't have a really great zoom length on my camera, so I'd sort of improvise here with a case of bits for my electric screwdriver. Anyway, so this on eBay was purported to be a tone generator based on a triple nickel or a 555 timer, and I was a little confused because it came with a buzzer, a very melted buzzer, and nowhere to plug it into the circuit board here. So I did a little bit of research yesterday while I could barely talk because my throat was so sore, and today it's actually still a bit sore, so if I sound a little bit rough or cough a lot or pause a lot to drink, as I'm about to, it's because of that. Probably just due to breathing a lot of dry dentist air the other day. But anyway, so what we actually have here is a pulse generator with the capability to change both frequency and duty cycle. So without getting into too much detail, because at some point there's a giant 555 timer kit that I want to purchase that takes that basically makes it that you have all of the discrete components for the triple nickel timer, and you build it on a big board, and then you can like probe around with an oscilloscope and a voltmeter and look at what actually happens inside the 555 timer. So I won't go into too much detail about what's going on here, but we can see a couple of interesting features. These are the potentiometers for adjusting the duty cycle, which is this potentiometer here, and the frequency, which is this potentiometer here. And I was a little confused briefly because there are a lot of capacitors on this board, and when I was examining it closer, I realized that these capacitors are being used to set the rough frequency. So we've got a 102 here, which is 1000 nanofarads or 1 picofarad. And then we have here a 104, which is 100,000 nanofarads, or sorry, 100,000 picofarads, or 100 nanofarads. And then we've got a 1 micro and a 100 micro. And if you look at the tracks, we've got the duty cycle potentiometer coming down here to this side of these contacts, and then this side of the contacts goes to each set of capacitors, which then go to ground. So what we have here is these will change well, my theory on it is that they're going to change the octave of the frequency. And then here, I believe this is just a filter capacitor on the power supply, although I'm pulling a blank on the pinout of 555. I should probably check that real quick. This will be just a decoupling capacitor on the reset pin to keep it from getting any false signals. And then we've got a diode that displays the frequency output, and there's actually a resistor here that comes off of the output pin of the triple nickel here. Sorry, no, the output pin is 3, so if I flip this over, that... Where are we going here? Yeah, this goes over to the resistor goes through the diode, and then the diode goes to the out. And then we've got ground and VCC, so that's the voltage input. So this could be used as a tone generator depending on the frequency you're outputting with the 555. It won't sound that great because the 555 puts out a square wave. But I'm thinking that if we put the buzzer across the out and ground, once we've constructed the circuit, it will output some sort of sound. So we'll find that out soon enough. I'll try to get this all done in one video. Try to keep it in that 20-minute range. Pardon me while I fix the focus real quick. There we go. We'll have to see what happens. The display on my iron's gone all weird. Interesting. I updated the firmware on this. I do have a tutorial on how to upgrade the TS100 to a custom firmware that's a lot more robust and has more options and such. If I remember, I'll try to put an info card right about here for that. But if I don't, yell at me in the comments, because I'm actually pretty likely to forget. Alright, so let's grab my little scrunchy thing here, clean off the tip, because I haven't used this poor guy in forever. Sorry for the wiggling. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, typically, I start with resistors. We only have one resistor for this board, so I'll just straighten out the leg on that one and bend them over. This is 1.5K, so it should be brown, green, and then 2 zeros, so red? Oh no, because this is a 5 pin, so yeah. Brown, green, black, so 150, and then brown for one more 0, making 1500. Alright, so we'll just drop that into the circuit board there, and get started on the soldering. Oh, come on, here we go. Ooh, very nice plated through holes on this board. Drinking up that solder nice and easy. Alright, so there's the resistor. I think the next thing we'll do is the little tiny ceramic caps. We'll get those out of the way next. So we'll start with, there's a 102, there's a 104. I should have another 104 somewhere around here. Uh-oh. Am I missing a capacitor, or is it just somewhere in this tragedy of a desk that I've got? Oh boy. Well, I might have to go find a 104 shortly. So we'll skip putting the reset pin 104 in, because that one isn't super crazy critical, although I'm a little dismayed that one of them went missing. I don't know if that's my fault or if they just didn't include it in the package. So we'll go ahead and put the 104 over here. Actually, we'll do the 102 first. So 102 being 1 0, 2 zeros in picofarads. So that's 1 nanofarad. Wait, is it nano or pico? I always get nano and pico mixed up, which one comes first, but I think it's pico. Pico is below nano. Oh, there we go. Come on. The lead on that capacitor did not want to take solder. Oh well. There's a 102. Let's get the 104 in there. Next octave. Well, I think it's an octave. I don't know. But we'll see when we're playing around with it, because if the speaker works, we'll be able to hear the transition in the octave, and if the speaker doesn't work, I'll do a second video where I'll just demonstrate it with the oscilloscope. I'll actually be able to look at the waveform change on the screen. Alright, so I guess we'll do the 1 micro next. Actually, no. I think I'm going to do the timer next. I'm supposed to use this socket, but the socket got pretty thoroughly mangled in transit, so I won't be using it today because I don't want to go through all the trouble of straightening out the pins on a socket of a type that I don't even like in the first place. Of course, the pins on the 555 here have also had kind of a rough day. So let's go ahead and get that into place on the board. There we go. And the legs are a little bit splayed, so it kind of holds the IC in. But what we're going to start by doing is we're going to just do one pin and then make sure it's sitting nice and straight. And we'll do the far corner and confirm that it's level again. Just in shot there, Chris. There we go. Alright, and then we'll just quickly do the others. 555s are fairly robust, so you don't need to worry too much about heating with the soldering iron. But it's good practice to try to make your joints as quickly as possible. Alright, I think the next stage should be... I'm going to do the pins next. So there's a collection of 3 pins that go onto the outground and VCC on this side, and then we're going to have 2 sets of 4 over here for the capacitors. So following the standard thing here, we'll tack one of those pins down and just get a finger on here and level it out. There we go. Trying to cultivate the habit of staying in shot a little better. I've been rather quite terrible about that lately, but hopefully I'll get better over time. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to do something a little odd. I'm going to put both sets of pins in, and I'm going to hold them in place with the jumper that came with the kit. So now that's not only holding them at the appropriate distance from each other for the jumper to work properly, but it's also keeping them nice and level. Of course, because I've got the pins already on the other side, gravity is going to straighten this out for me, so I don't need to worry too much about leveling these pins. So we'll just quickly... This footer is tangled. There we go. Now, I found the other day while I was going through my stuff, my little third hand clamp with the PCB slot in it, but it doesn't stick to this work mat, so I'm currently trying to figure out a solution for me to be able to use that. It'll bring the soldering projects closer to the camera for one, and it'll keep them from wandering around. You'll notice sometimes I have to chase it around with my soldering iron because I don't have anything to hold them down. I suppose I could use blue tack like Julian Eilert does. Alright, next, how are we doing for time? 6 minutes left. I don't know if I'm going to finish this in 20 minutes. Alright, so we'll drop the capacitor in, and it fits quite tightly, so I don't need to worry about leveling that one for sure. Let's go ahead and tack that on. One glorious day I'll get a nice chisel tip for this soldering iron. That'll be nice. Alright, turn those off. We'll drop the 100 mic in here. We'll do those one at a time because they're big and loose. Alright. Get that nice and level. Yeah, I was a little over generous with the solder on that joint. I was not having a lot of luck getting it to flow. There we go, much better on that one. Alright, now for the second capacitor. There we go. This one's fitting a little tighter. There we go. Don't mind the, oh, did I put this one in backward? Oh, wouldn't that be embarrassing? Did I really just do that? I think I did. I'll have to check on that in between cuts, because I'm going to have to take a break between actually finishing this and testing it, because we're about to run out of time. So, you know what? I think I'll just wrap it up there. We'll finish up with the potentiometers and the LED in the next part, and that'll give us plenty of time to play around with it and see how it works. So join me for part 2 coming up soon. I really hope I didn't mess up that capacitor. And if you haven't already, consider clicking here to subscribe. Right over here is a video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy from my channel. Right here is, we'll make that the Kit Builds playlist. And right here is a link to Patreon that you can use to help support my eBay buying habits, of which this is one. So see you in the next part.